happy to be here in Ottawa. Is there a state also?
Province, Ontario.
It's an Ontario province.
Ottawa is in the province of
Ottawa,
Ontario.
Ontario, Canada,
Yeah.
USA, planet Earth, universe of the four-headed Brahma. Vicky Jai. I need a Bhagavad Gita. Because I don't speak my own words. I speak according to Bhagavad Gita as it is. We've come here not to bewilder you with so many fancy words. We come here to liberate you from the cycle of birth and death. Who wants to get out of the cycle of birth and death? Raise your hand. Jai. That's why we're here today. I've been blessed by my spiritual master, whose murti is over here. He's actually present in his murti. It's not just a statue. Papa is actually present in that murti. So, it's a good stand for my... They're watching me on the video. If you have a better stand, it's a perfect angle for getting me. We can leave it. I need a flashlight. You have a flashlight for reading. I can use... You have a flashlight? Good. Yeah, we're going to tonight reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text number 8. And we're going to... Oh, great. Oh, yeah, that was really good. Good. All right. Excellent. So, tonight we're reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 10, verse number 8. Everyone repeat after me to invoke auspiciousness on this transcendental occasion. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo.
Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo.
Matat Sarvam Pravartate.
Matat Sarvam Pravartate.
Himatva Bhajante Mam.
Himatva Bhajante Mam.
Buddha Bhava Samanvita.
Buddha Bhava.
That will be the translation and purport by His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, a liberated soul who came from the spiritual world to deliver us from this hellish nightmare called the cycle of birth and death and bring us back to our original identities, which are transcendental of this material existence, which are eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. Translation. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who know this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Purport. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like the Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda, Gopala Company Upanishad 124, it is said, Yo Brahmanam Vedadati Purvam Yovai Vedam Sha Gavayati Sma Krishnaha. It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. Then again, the Narayana Upanishad 1 says, Atta Purusho Vai Narayano Kamayata Praja Srijeti. Then the Supreme Personality, Narayan, desired to create living entities. The Upanishad continues, Narayanad Brahma Jayate, Narayanad Prajapati Prajayate, Narayanad Indra Jayate, Narayanad Astu Vasavo Jayante, Narayanad Ekadasha Rudra Jayante, Narayanad Vadadashit Naha. From Narayan, Brahma is born, From Narayan, the patriarchs are also born. From Narayan, Indra is born. From Narayan, the Vasus are born. From Narayan, the 11 Rudra's are born. From Narayan, the 12 Aditya's are born. This Narayan is an expansion of Krishna. It is said in the same Vedas, Brahmanya Devaki Putra. The son of Devaki, Krishna, is the Supreme Personality. Narayana Upanishad 4. Then it is said, Eko Vai Narayana Asin Na Brahma Nashano Napo Nagni Sama Neme Va Apraya Apatidi Na Rudakshadi Nasuyaha. In the beginning of the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality Narayan. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven and earth, no stars in the sky, and no sun. Maha Upanishad 1-2. In the Maha Upanishad, it also said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata, Krishna also says, Prajapatim Nasarujam Shatyaham Eva Swajan Mevai Tahi Mam Na Vajanito Mama Maya Vimohito. The patriarch, Shiva, and all others are created by me. So do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In the Varaha Purana it is also said, Narayana Paro Devas Tasmad Jatas Chaturmakaha Tasmad Ruda Bhavendra Deva Satya Sarva Jikam Gataha. Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me, no one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna-conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. You should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations of Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness. So, if Krishna is the origin of everything, are we part of everything? Are we outside of everything? If Krishna is the origin of everything, that means that we are also coming from Krishna. Krishna is our source. What about Mom and Dad? I'm not coming from Mom and Dad. Now wait a minute. They were just instruments through which this body was born. But Mom and Dad also came from Krishna, and their Mom and Dad also. He goes all the way back, and you find that Krishna is the source of everything. So we're actually part of Krishna. That means we have a relationship with Krishna. What do we think he's just a Hindu myth? Does that change the fact? No. Whether you know it or not, you have a relationship with Krishna. What do we call him in English? God. Krishna is the source of everything. So, if we have a relationship with him, you think it would be purposeful or useful or meaningful for us to know about that and to learn how to relate in that position. Just like if you knew that you were a citizen of Canada. We have Canadian citizens here, right? If you knew that you were a citizen of Canada, what would that mean? That means you would live in harmony with the laws of Canada, right? Just like you get on the freeway. What is the law here in Canada? You keep to the right, isn't it? Of course in the UK it's the left, right? In Canada and the US, you're like the US, we keep to the right. That's the law. Now why do you say, well, I don't really believe in Canada. I'm just going to keep to the left. You may do that, but that police car will pull you over. Now you're in Canada, my dear sir. You must now drive on the right, whether you like it or not, because you're in Canada. So the point is, if you know your actual identity, if you know your actual origin, you should live in harmony with it, otherwise you're in trouble. You say, well, I can understand the police car, but what about Krishna or God? I mean, what's the big deal? Wait a minute. There's even more powerful. You may get away with riding going over the speed limit or doing this or that without getting caught. You can run a red light without getting caught. But I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you try to act out of harmony with the laws of the Supreme, there's something called karma that will get you. You'll get the karma for every little thing you do that's in violation. You'll get a karmic reaction. And if you live in harmony with it, you can get a positive karmic reaction, or something even better. If you live in a loving relationship with that Supreme, then you get what's called akarma. You get no karmic reaction whatsoever. You become awakened in what's called bhakti, or pure love for that Supreme. So I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will learn how to have a loving relationship with that Supreme Source, that's from the source of all existence, that Supreme Person, then you will live in a state, an amazing state called devotional service, a state called bhakti, or it's called Krishna consciousness, or Rama consciousness, or Jehovah consciousness, or Allah consciousness. We're not talking about a religion, a particular religion here. We're talking about the universal science of relationship with the individual soul, the Supreme Soul. So religion is not Hindu, it's not Christian, it's not Jewish, it's not Mohammedan, it's not Buddhist, it's not Jain, Jain, it's not, none of these things. It's like gold. If I say, here's some Christian gold, you think I'm talking nonsense? Here's some Hindu gold. Well, I'll take gold, but I only have Hindu gold. I don't want any Christian gold. No. I'll take gold. What do you call it? Christian, Hindu, Buddhist. I'll take gold. Just give me the gold, right? But religion is like that. It's not Hindu, it's not Christian, it's not Jewish. Just like here I am chanting Hare Krishna, but I'm from a Christian family, is it? They tell me to believe in Jesus. You know how I came to Krishna consciousness? By studying Jesus. The Bible brought me to Krishna consciousness. Because I'm trying to figure out, well, Jesus Christ is a self-realized soul in perfect harmony with God, with Krishna. Now, what made him a perfect, liberated soul? And what made him a perfect spiritual being? I was trying to figure it out. So I get every morning I read the Bible, what made Jesus a self-realized soul? And one day, I found it. He said, Father, not my will, but thy will be done. Aha! That's it, you got to do what God wants, not what you want. But I had one problem. I didn't know what God wanted me to do. Now in the Bible there was one wicked fellow, his name was Saul. On his way to Damascus, God appeared to him and said, now I'm renaming you as Paul, and here's your mission. And Christians call it a Damascus experience, when God reveals to you your mission. So I was sitting there in Austin, Texas, reading the Bible, waiting for my Damascus experience. When will God reveal to me what is my mission? And no voice was coming. But one day, an amazing thing happened. Some little girl actually revealed to me. I was a locally popular singer-songwriter in those days. I was doing a gig at a vegetarian co-op, and I was kind of depressed. Only one little girl was in the audience. I was really depressed. I sang, but she came up to me after the song. She said, "Don't worry." She read my mind that I was depressed. She was the only one hearing me. She said, "Don't worry, God can hear you." Like, wow. That's amazing. That was a message from God through that little girl. Because I was waiting for God to reveal to me my mission, my duty, and it wasn't coming. But then I can't hear God. But wait a minute, through the little girl, you can't hear me, but I can hear you. Aha, that's it. So every day I'd pray, I'd read the Bible and say, "Dear God, please guide me how I can become your perfect servant." So Krishna, our God, heard my prayer, and he sent one devotee named Vishnu Jana Swami to Austin to tell me how to become a devotee. And that's how I joined. The Bible brought me to Krishna consciousness. So that's proof it's not Hindu, it's not Christian, it's not any of these things. This is the universal science of the soul in relationship with the Supreme Soul. So it's very important that we actually learn how to harmonize with the Supreme. Because right now we have a culture which is not living in harmony with the Supreme. When I was a kid, every day in school we all prayed the Lord's Prayer. The whole school prayed to God every day. Every day. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We say the same thing. We say the name of God is holy. That's why we chant Hare Krishna. Hallowed be thy name. But then there was one lady, one atheist lady, didn't like it that her little kid had to pray the Lord's Prayer every day. So for her little kid, didn't have to hear the Lord's Prayer every day. The Supreme Court banned prayer from all the schools. Why didn't they just let the kid go to a different room? But he didn't have to hear the prayer. But no, let's ban prayer for every school in the whole United States. So none of the kids can pray anymore in school. So that was the wonderful Supreme Court of the United States. They ran prayer completely in the public school. So it's just, godlessness is on the way. It's taking over. It's becoming more and more godless, more and more crazy, more and more demoniac. Can you imagine all these mass shootings? Every day they have an average of 1.5 mass shootings on the average every day, 1.5. It means every 2 days there are 3 mass shootings in the U.S. right now. Some people tell me even a little kid took a gun to school and shot his teacher. Can you imagine? An elementary school kid took a gun and shot his teacher. So what's going on here? The more we become godless, the more it becomes crazy. In this connection, my spiritual master gave a very nice story. It's called, let's see, what is that? It's not the story. Yeah, called Purna Muzika Baba. As again, you become a mouse. So there's one little mouse, you see, always being bothered by a cat. Every time he comes out of the mouse hole, and the cat tries to catch him, he's running back to the mouse hole. Oh, the cat, the cat, the cat. But one day, there was a saintly person who had powers. So he approached that saintly person. My dear saintly person, I'm being so much harassed by this cat. Will you please help me? I'm being so much harassed by this cat. He said, how about I make you a cat? Will that solve your problem? Oh yes, make me a cat. Boom, now you're a cat. No cats about it. Then there's another problem. The dog. Yes, the dog. Now, oh my God. He went back to the saintly person when the dog was taking a nap. My dear saintly person, what can you do? All right, can I make you? I'll make you a dog. Dog. But then there's another problem. The tiger came out of the forest. He was hungry. He was looking for a nice dog to eat. When he went back to the saintly person, oh, the tiger, the tiger. How about I make you a tiger? Yes, make me a tiger. Now when the tiger goes to eat, what happens? His meat's run away from him, isn't it? But here's a nice, saintly, plump, saintly person sitting right there in front of him. And he takes a look at him like, the saintly person says, so, you want to eat me? Yes. Put us in the God, but give me become a mouse. So this is what is happening to our civilization. This is a very nice story explaining what's happening to our civilization. You see. Prabhupada said that again, because we're defying God, you see, again we become aborigines in the forest. You say, well, how's that possible? Just think about it. I was flying in the airplane today, or yesterday, and I was thinking, how much fuel is being burned up by every airplane? There's hundreds of airplanes, thousands, millions of cars driving. How much fuel is being burned up, and how much supply is left in the earth? So you may say, well, you know, solar power, electric, but if the petroleum runs out, what's going to happen to our civilization based on petroleum? So it's quite feasible that actually we could become aborigines living in the forest once again, in the jungle, trying to survive by eating a few roots. You see? It's possible. It could happen. So the point is, if we kick God out, like that yogi, you know, like that little mouse, wanting to kill God, wanting to kill like the point is, if we kill God, the point is everything can be finished. God is the actual source of everything, and we owe our allegiance, our dedication to God. He supplies every breath of air is coming by His mercy. Is the Canadian government supplying you every air to breathe? Thank you, Canadian government. No, your Canadian government is not giving you the air to breathe. They're not manufacturing the water either. They may have a water plant that puts it through a pipe, but they're not manufacturing the water, you see. Everything we live on is we depend on God. That's it. And now we define God. You see, we define God. So the difficulty is by defining God, Purnam Vizikabhava, the whole thing can fall apart. No more automobiles. It's struggling, for some roots and berries in the forest. Whoever can survive after the whole thing collapses. So the point is, let's bring God back to the center. In our own personal lives and in the society in general. Let's bring Krishna or God back to the center. I don't care if you call him Allah or Jehovah. Right now I'm preaching to one person, Jehovah's Witness. I said, if you chant Jehovah's name at the time of death, you wake up in the spiritual world. He was very happy to hear that. I didn't say to chant Hare Krishna, you can chant Jehovah. He was very happy. Now I'm his good friend, because I tell him, I'm a Hare Krishna. I say, you can chant Jehovah's name and wake up in the spiritual world. He gave me a gift the other day, actually. He was so pleased. He gave me a free gift. Because he was so pleased I'm saying Jehovah. So this is a universal science. It applies to Christians, the Jews, the Sikhs, the Jains, everyone. This is the universal science of God. This is not Hinduism. This is the science of God, the universal science of re-establishing a relationship with that Supreme Person, the source of all existence. So I'm asking each and every one of you, kindly reconnect in a loving relationship with that Supreme Person. Oh, what about my wife? What about my kids? What about my neighbors? Now wait a minute. Try to understand, when you water the root of the tree, all the leaves and branches are nourished. When you feed your belly, every part of your body becomes nourished. Running out of power here. When you feed your belly, every part of your body is nourished. So when you give your loving service to God, whether you call him Krishna, Allah, Jehovah, or Rama, when you give your loving service to God, now your loving service, that loving feeling, that loving service goes to all living beings. Even a little grasshopper, a little ant, a little mosquito. Even all the plants also, the worms, the reptiles, the fish, the birds. When you give your loving service to that Supreme Person, now you're giving perfect love to every living entity throughout all of existence. And guess what? That includes you. So the best way to take care of yourself, the best way to give happiness to yourself, is to give yourself in loving service to Krishna or God. Because that gives the best happiness, the best loving service to you. Now would you not like to have the best loving, best happiness for yourself? Anybody raise your hand if you don't want the best happiness for yourself? Well then, if you don't want the best happiness for yourself, then don't chant the names of God. God himself appeared 500 years ago as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he taught this very simple process of awakening pure love to the Supreme. It's called chanting and dancing in ecstasy. Everybody likes to go to a party with a singing and dancing, right? So just imagine if you can sing and dance in a party, having a party of singing and dancing the names of God, and render the highest loving service to all living entities throughout all of existence. So we tell them, chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chant and be happy, that's what we always say. Even we talk to the salesman on the phone, and we say, when we call, we say, chant and be happy, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. We want everyone to chant Hare Krishna. Let's introduce this Hare Krishna mantra to everyone. Because the more you hear the name of Krishna, the more you chant the name of Krishna, the more you become awakened. You see, right now, our hearts are polluted with so much lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. These coverings have kept us entangled in the cycle of birth and death for millions and billions and trillions of lifetimes. But now, after going through, there's 8,400,000 different species of life. Now, out of the 8,400,000, the 8 million are the lower species, the worms and reptiles, the birds, the fish, the plants. The 8 million is the lower species, but the 400,000 types of human beings, not only here but throughout the entire universe, that's why there's so many. These 400,000 types of different human beings, this is our time that we can get out of the cycle of birth and death. The Vedic wisdom says, Tato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that you've got this human form, you must utilize it for self-realization. So, self-realization begins when we agree to follow the instructions given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, as taught to us by the bona fide spiritual master. By taking this, actually it's called initiation, when you dedicate yourself to following the orders of the spiritual master, who is giving you exactly what Krishna tells you to do. The spiritual master is there to train you how to become Krishna's pure devotee. He is the spiritual master is a living example of what it means to be Krishna conscious. He showed you by his example and by his instructions exactly how to become Krishna conscious. So I was very fortunate to get the association and the initiation of the bona fide spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada, back in 1971 in Austin, Texas. So for the last half a century I've been following his teachings and trying to teach everybody else that I come in contact with to follow these wonderful instructions given in the books of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. These books that we sell here. Please purchase these books. We have them over there too. Everybody get these books and study them and follow them. If you will base your life on these books, your life will become sublime, absolutely sublime. There's no reason to be in anxiety. Anxiety is simply due to ignorance. Your actual identity is your eternal spiritual being full of bliss and knowledge. You have nothing to do with your material body. It's only a temporary thing you're passing to. In fact, the body you have right now is not the same body you had when you walked in this lecture. Put it this way. This is loosen it. There we go. And tighten it. Now we're good. Now we got to tighten it somewhere. Tighten it there. Now we are in good shape, ready to conquer the world. So you don't have the body you have right now is not the same body you have when I began this sentence. Really? How can you say such a thing? The body you have now is not the body you same body you had when I started this sentence. Is this like what's your famous river here?
Ottawa.
Ottawa River?
Ridu River.
What's it called?
Ridu River.
Redo.
How do you spell it?
Rideau.
Rideau.
Redo. Like redo it? The Redo River, okay. Now, the water in the Redo, if you look at any spot in the Redo River, it's never the same because the water is always flowing through it, you see. So the water is constantly changing. Your body is like the Redo River, you see. Because every minute the molecules are flowing in and flowing out. When you inhale, the molecules are coming in. When you exhale, they're going out. When you drink and you pass urine and stool, it's a constant influx and outflux of your body. So what you have now, not the same body you had a minute ago, you see. But you, the person within, are the same. Just like you can look back at pictures from 20 years ago. Wow, they look different then, you see. Because that's the same you, but the body is not you. It's called the Atma. The soul within the body remains the same. So that Atma, the actual soul, it never gets sick, it never gets old, it never dies. It's qualitatively one with the Supreme Person, Krishna. Krishna's qualities are he's eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, and you being part of him are qualitatively one. Just like the ocean has a certain chemical composition, and qualitatively one drop of ocean has the same quality as the entire ocean. So Krishna, God, is like the entire ocean, and you're a drop. So you are qualitatively one with him. So you are also eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So why are we feeling so much ignorance and misery? Because we're misidentifying with this body. That's the problem. So if you want to become self-realized, my dear ladies and gentlemen, the first thing you have to do is kick out identification with your body. If you want to do it right now, you can repeat it after me. I am not this body.
I am not this body.
I am an eternal spiritual being.
I am an eternal spiritual being.
Full of knowledge and bliss.
Full of knowledge and bliss.
My nature is to serve that Supreme Being.
My nature is to serve the Supreme Being.
Now, if you can you can spend your whole life based on what you just said, and your life will become perfect. You become free of all anxiety, and you won't take birth again in this material world. If you can just keep in your conscience what you just said, the time of death you'll wake up in the spiritual world in your original body, which never gets sick, never gets old, never dies. if you want to accurately fill out a form when they ask you what your age is, put the infinity sign. That's your actual age. I'm eternal. I must be really old then, right? No, you're eternal youth. As God is an eternal, Navi Yoganam, in Sanskrit language, says God is an eternal youth. He's an ever-fresh youth, so you're also an ever-fresh youth. You never need an ear, hearing aids, or glasses, or a cane, or a wheelchair. You're all a beautiful youth. See, that's your eternal identity. See. There's male and female, but they're not crazy after sex. Nobody gets pregnant in the spiritual world. They just have loving relationships with association with Krishna, and they have all kinds of wonderful, beautiful pastimes. So, anybody have any questions or challenges? You think I'm a crazy nut? Want anybody make an argument against what I've been saying here tonight? You're just some Hindu fanatic, or Anybody have some arguments, or do you think I'm a fool, a rascal, just deluding you with some kind of flowery language? Or do you think this makes sense? Who thinks it makes sense? Raise your hand. All right. Not everybody agreed, but just half of you thought I was making some sense. So either makes sense, of your human form of life, or it's just nonsense. You have a choice. Make sense of your human life by understanding your actual spiritual nature, or just live a life of nonsense. Rishi, so, don't waste your human form. Yes.
Srila Gurudev, if this is so, this is what we said just now. I'm not this body. I'm an eternal spirit soul. My duty is as the servant of the Supreme Soul, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. All of these things, they sound extremely simple. It's almost like it's so simple that it's, how can it possibly be so simple?
Simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. Actually, it's very simple. ABC, it's like the ABCs of spiritual life. I'm just giving you the ABCs. If you want to go into more detailed stuff and more difficult, we can go there. But I'm giving you the ABCs tonight. It goes all the way up to Z. There's all kinds of very high-level philosophy. Let's give you the basics. We have Bhagavad Gita, the basics. We also have Srimad Bhagavatam over there. Do we have Bhagavatam here? Bhagavatam is the advanced study. Bhagavad Gita is your master's degree. Srimad Bhagavatam is a master's degree. Chaitanya Charamita, PhD. And we can go all the way to PhD, but we're starting off with the ABC, Bhagavad Gita philosophy. That's what we're studying on Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. It's actually not difficult, but get yourself solid situated in the basics, and then we'll take you to high-level stuff. Very complicated, esoteric stuff. If you want to build a skyscraper, you have to have a good foundation. We have to give you a very solid foundation in the basics. And then once your foundation is solid, then we'll build a skyscraper on top of it. Anything else? Is that it for now? All right, back there. Yes, sir.
So I have a question. So you just briefly mentioned. That we identify with this body, that's why we are suffering.
Right.
But if we identify ourselves as a soul, we will not suffer. So just put some more light, because I feel it's hard to realize, and if we even start meditating on all those things, but
hard to realize I'm not the body? Yeah. There's a technique to become practically realized in your body is called transcendental meditation. And the most powerful method the most powerful mantras of meditation are given by God Himself, as Lord Chaitanya. It goes like this: Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Now, for those who take initiation, we have you chant our what are called japa beads 16 times around the beads every day. That means 1,732 repetitions every day of the Hare Krishna mantra. Now, you don't have to count on a counter. You can use chanting beads, japa beads. Do you have japa beads?
yes,
And how many rounds are you chanting each day?
60.
Oh, very good. So if you will go deep, try to The holy names are like an unlimited ocean of unlimited depth. Trying to go take in very deep, go deeper and deeper and deeper into the holy names, and then you will naturally, automatically realize you're chanting all my name. See, theoretically, I'm not the body, but practically speaking, by chanting this mantra with intense meditation, that will bring you beyond your bodily consciousness. So the key is chanting with focused chanting. Okay? Very good. Yes, Guru Maharaji.
So, isn't that another way when we see the dead body and the live body, there is a difference, so we can understand what is missing in there?
Yeah. A live body and a dead body. Dead body just can't move, and a live body is obvious. The live body has something the dead body doesn't have. That's right.
Yes, so that can't we understand the presence of the soul, that we are soul and not the body?
Yeah, that's right. Just see the difference between Guru Maharaj is making a very nice point. See the difference between a living body and a dead body. Very good example. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So my question is that it's not related, like it's a little bit related to what you told us today, what you teach us today. But my question is, like, it is always said that whatever we do, good or bad, we have to, like, we will get result in this life only.
Now, give me the next life also. Not necessarily in this life. It may come in the next life also. It's like immediately becomes someone who eats flesh becomes an animal in the next birth and is eaten.
Okay, so whatever we do, good or bad, like, again my question is, we will get half of the result in this life and
No,
half
it may not be, depends, it may not be half, it may be a fourth, it may be a tenth, it may be 100, it may be all, it depends on the individual situation. But if you surrender to Krishna, you're free from all the good and bad reactions. See, let's say you open a lot of hospitals, right? A lot of charity hospitals. So what's my good result? I get free medical care. Wow, I get free medical care for thousands of lifetimes, because no, I don't want that reaction. Free medical care for thousands of lifetimes. So even good karma is bad in one sense. So the Krishna consciousness or bhakti takes you beyond the reactions for all good and bad karma. You can get out of all karmic reactions and wake up in the spiritual world. It's called there's karma, there's akarma, there's good karma, bad karma, karma or good karma, and akarma, no karma. We want akarma. By engaging in Krishna consciousness, you get akarma, no karmic reaction whatsoever. And that's what we want.
Thank you. I have one more question actually. So in Bhagavad Gita, I was reading that Krishna Bhagavan said to Arjuna that like when Arjuna was thinking that what I am doing, I shouldn't kill any of my neighbor, like they are my relative, why I am killing them. Then Krishna said that what do you think that you are doing these things? I am the one who is like who think I am the one like who already think this thing. This is all happening because like I wish that.
Right. You should just be an instrument, he's telling you, Arjuna.
Yeah, so
don't worry about it, just be an instrument in my hands, that's right.
Yeah. So like I just want to know whatever we are doing, is it already written? And if like anybody is doing, so if it is
No. When we are acting independently according to our own whims, we are not acting according to God's direction. We're acting according to the influence of the Maya, of the illusory energy. You can be a puppet in the hands of Krishna or a puppet in the hands of Maya, or illusion. We have a choice. Just like a very common example. Everybody has to serve the government here. Good? But if you choose not to, you're forced to in the prison. So everybody has to serve the government, either in the good sense or the bad sense. So everybody serves God in the good sense, of serving and surrendering Him, or in the bad sense of being under the prison house of the material nature.
So, like, what is written and what is not written? Sometimes something happen and we say that it's already written.
It's not that your free will is always there. Not that, I engaged in sinful activities, but that was written. No, your free will is eternally there. You always have a choice. You're not forced to do anything. Everything is according to your free will.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yellow? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Babu.
Hare Krishna.
My humble wishes is, my question is, we are doing the chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra and we are doing the Vedic or Sadhana Bhakti. And what I'll just try to finish my rounds. Like, can you put like how we can put more bhav into it so that we can go into the next stage of Raganuga Bhakti? Or
The best trick is do it first thing in the morning before you eat or do it first thing in the morning before the sunrise. That's the best. Because there's different modes of nature. Before the sunrise, it's the ideal time for meditation. When the sun comes up, the mode of passion comes. Do this, do there, run here, go there, do that. That's the mode of passion. And then at night, you just sleep. That's the mode of ignorance. So get up early in the morning before sunrise and chant your japa. And that's when you can dive deep, deep, deep. There's nothing else to do except chant. No phone calls, no internet, just japa. Chant those holy names or anything else. Let the whole world go to hell. It doesn't matter. I'm going to chant my room. You see, that's the mood. Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. My question is in bhakti. My question is in bhakti, in devotional service, we are instructed that there is no likes and dislikes. We do what seva is necessary. But in that way, how will I unravel my psychophysical nature in what I am inclined to and give my best, pull out my best potential to serve Krishna?
How will you become pure?
How do I unravel my psychophysical nature, what I am inclined to?
Just your pure nature is to be completely surrendered to Krishna. Just try to be, you don't have to worry, what's my actual nature? Don't worry about that. Just become the pure devotee, your natural nature will automatically be there. Just become totally so about the Guru and Krishna with your every thought, word, and deed in all times, places, and circumstances. By doing so, your actual nature will perfectly come out. You don't have to strive to develop your nature. Just strive to become Krishna's pure devotee, everything else happens automatically. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, Maharaj, you want to add some points?
I'm okay. She would step out.
I'm not sure.
That's my wife, Guru Maharaji. Ki jai. Guru Maharaji ki jai.
She's talking about the nature. We have acquired the nature, either in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, or ignorance. And it shows that we are somewhat in the mode of goodness right now. That's why we are here, in Krishna consciousness. So if we keep ourselves at least in the mode of goodness and progress in our Krishna consciousness, we will attain our eternal nature, which is eternal, full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity.
Next.
That's what you need to develop.
Next. Okay, we have people online tuning in from all over the world. Let's see. What is, let's see if I can get it where I can read it. Let's see. Turn it this way, I can read the question. Somebody type in a question here. Let's see here. How can I find the questions? No. Not an expert at finding questions. You type that question again, I missed it. Whoever typed it in, I know how to read it in my iPhone. The iPad, I know how to read it, but not the iPhone. What is the question? Type it in again for a minute. Tell me about fearlessness. Krishna consciousness, my spiritual master actually he was named Abhay Charan by his father. Abhay Charan means he becomes fearless by taking shelter of the lotus seat of the Lord. So actually, when you become Krishna conscious, when you take shelter of Krishna, you automatically achieve fearlessness. It's amazing how you can actually be fearless even in the most fearful situations. So just So there's so much anxiety in this world. I'm afraid about this, afraid about that. So many things to be afraid of. But if you take shelter of Krishna, there's no more fearlessness. You become fearless. That was the question. Any other questions?
There's a question here online from ISKCON Ottawa, from Mandalaram Prabhu. He's saying, we see in the world we are dealing with so many problems and traumas. How can we best conquer over our mind that has the tendency to bring us into depression?
The mind is your best friend or your worst enemy. If you let your mind control you, it's your worst enemy. If you keep your mind under your control, then your mind is your best friend. So you have a choice. You keep your mind, oh, my dear mind, please now engage yourself in the devotional service of the Divine Son of Nandavarnara. My dear mind, please keep yourself always now engaged in Krishna's service. If you keep your mind always fixed in Krishna's service, it's your very best friend. If you let your mind go wild and run crazy, run here and there, meditating on this, meditating on that, then your mind is a very bad enemy, very dangerous enemy. So keep your mind always fixed in Krishna consciousness. That's the key. Yatav yatav nishchalati man naschan sadamastanam tatastatal nayanyaptat tatmanyeva vishamyayat. From whatever and wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering, unsteady nature, one must suddenly bring it back under the control of the self, the soul. So, mind, now come on, mind, come back to Krishna. If mind goes away, bring it back, bring it back. Like a naughty child, when he starts breaking all the glasses. My dear child, please come this side, stop breaking the glasses. He's like a child, you keep him disciplined and behaving nicely, in the same way you keep your mind disciplined and behaving nicely. Anything else? Any challenges? This is not, we don't ask you to blindly accept this. We ask you to, if you have something that doesn't make sense to you, please inquire. This Krishna consciousness for this means to satisfy your intelligence. We don't want you to blindly accept things. This is not dogma. We're going to kind of cram it down your throat. Some dogma. No, we want you to understand the science of the Supreme Soul and the individual soul and the relationship between the Supreme Soul and the individual soul. So if something does not make sense, please inquire until your intelligence is fully satisfied. That's our request. Please inquire until your intelligence is fully satisfied. And then when your intelligence is fully satisfied, you'll naturally take up devotion to Krishna as your only business from now on. What about my education? What about my career? Those things are external, you see. Those things come and go. But this whole lifetime will come and go. But your relationship with the individual soul, the Supreme Soul, is an eternal asset, which even after millions of lifetimes, it will still be there, you see. So focus now, make your main purpose in life to perfect that loving relationship with Krishna. Other things can be used in Krishna's service, career, education. They can be offered in Krishna's service, but they're not the purpose of your existence. They're not the purpose of your existence. The purpose of your existence is to engage yourself in loving service of that Supreme Person as the source of all existence. Anything else?
There's a question online. And,
from Start Meeting?
From Start Meeting.
Okay.
And the question is, it appears that following the practice of Bhakti Yoga means to swim upstream in the world, against the grain, basically. So how to remain enthusiastic and continuous in that process?
It's going with the grain, the opposite. In order to be successful materially, you're going against the actual grain. When you go with the actual, when you actually surrender to Krishna, you're going with the flow instead of against the flow. It's just the opposite. Your natural identity is to be the eternal servant of Krishna. So you go tune into that actual identity and everything else will come automatically.
I mean, I want to elaborate that question a little bit. Everybody sees Bhakti Yogis as being weird, you know. like we're weird. We don't eat anything except Krishna Prasad. We don't indulge in illicit sexual activities.
Actually, materialists are weird. They're all weird. We're natural. We're the natural people. They're the weirdos. That's the thing. They're weird.
He's asking.
It's like the old kid, I remember when I was a kid, it was, things go better with Coca-Cola, things go better with Coke. And that's how we were trained as little kids. Mommy, Mommy, can we have Coca-Cola? But they didn't buy it because my parents didn't think we should take it. They wouldn't allow me to take Coca-Cola. My parents are weird, they won't let me have Coca-Cola. You know, the whole culture is brainwashing us to be weird. But actually your natural position is to, and the natural position of living entities is to be a loving servant of the Supreme. Like a fish taking the water, you see. It's unnatural for them to flap an agony on the beach. It's natural for them to take to the water. Krishna consciousness means taking to the water. It's pure life means flapping an agony on the beach. Yes.
Guru Maharaj, I have another question. During the mode of ignorance time of the day, what are the few practical devotional services that we can engage so I am not prone to procrastination or laziness?
Well, that means in the time of sleep. That's the mode of ignorance, time for sleeping. So you engage yourself nicely in Krishna consciousness during the day, and at night you'll sleep about Krishna. You have Krishna conscious dreams, dreaming of devotees, thinking of Krishna. Just engage yourself fully during your waking hours in Krishna consciousness, then you can have Krishna conscious dreams at night. Never be touched by the mode of ignorance. Okay?
Do I sleep at 7 p.m.?
Huh?
Should I sleep at 7 p.m.?
Take whatever is practical. 6 to 7 hours, Prabhupada said. You take one by 7, you get up at 1. And chant 64 rounds. That's 64 rounds.
Another online question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Question from Mandalaram Prabhu. There are so many gods, prophets, and religions in the world. Why has God made it so confusing? How can we know for a fact that Krishna is the Supreme God?
We made it confusing. God didn't make it confusing. We have made it confusing because of our material desires. Some of these pseudo-prophets say, you can worship God, you can get this. They actually want to have followers, you see, polluted by desire for followers, and they preach some subset of religion, not the pure form religion. Those who teach the pure form religion never teach any sectarian concepts. Sectarianism is taught by persons who have material motives. My battery's almost dead on my... Anybody else have a start meeting?
I have it on.
And we'll get you on the... Because I'm almost dead on my battery. I'm not going to put you as the host. Can you... Are you...
It's by Sankarshan Das, so if you want
It's a host?
You can check on your attendees and then put him to a host.
Can you set it? Can you do it?
You're
Here, I'll give it to you. Your manager will do. Yeah, my battery's almost dead. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, following up from Mandalaram Prabhu. How can we know Krishna is the Supreme God?
Well, first of all, is there a Supreme Lord at all? That's the first question. Is there a Supreme Lord at all? And if we understand, because no machine functions like an operator, because its whole existence operates like a machine, first thing we can understand there is a Supreme Being. Now, who is that Supreme Being? The great Vedic authority. It said that the Supreme Being is Bhagavan, one who possesses all opulences. What are the opulences? What's considered very opulent in the material world? Power. Someone's very powerful, they're considered opulent. Someone's very beautiful. Someone's very renounced, living like a sage in the Himalayas, that's considered very opulent. Someone's very knowledgeable, someone's very wealthy, or somebody's very famous. These are all the opulences. Power, beauty, renunciation, knowledge, wealth, and fame. So the Supreme Person must be that person who has unlimited power, unlimited beauty, unlimited renunciation, unlimited knowledge, unlimited wealth, and unlimited fame. That would be the Supreme Person. He has more power, more beauty, more renunciation, more knowledge, more wealth, and fame than anybody else in all of existence. That would be the Supreme Person. So So you can compare Krishna with all the other great personalities. See, nobody has as much power, as much beauty, as much pronunciation, as much knowledge, as much wealth or as fame as Krishna. So Krishna, by scientific analysis, Krishna must therefore be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By scientific analysis. Anything else? Any other challenges? Debates, confusions, delusions? Yes.
My question is it's about the karma yoga.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Let the mic come to you, please.
Can you hear me?
No, it's for the...
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm hearing you fine, even without the mic. Your voice is loud and clear.
The question is about the karma yoga. Is the karma yoga means that the devotional service to the Lord Supreme?
Yes, you engage your... With karma yoga, it's transcendental to karma. Because yoga means linking with the Supreme. So you engage your actions in the service of the Supreme. And that's transcendental to the material karma. You transcendentalize karma by engaging in just the service. Next.
That is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Karmaneva, Krishna says that do your activities, but the results are not yours. So you can offer the result in service of Krishna. Then it becomes karma yoga. If you use the results for your sense enjoyment, it is just karma.
Anything else? About in the back there. About in the back, we go up in the back. Microphone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you said it is the soul that doesn't change while the body changes, but the scientists argue that it is the DNA that doesn't change.
DNA is temporary. It's material. DNA is temporary. The body is, DNA is in a material body. The cell doesn't have DNA. Do you understand that or accept it? The cell does not have DNA. The body has DNA. Right? Does the cell have DNA? No. The cell doesn't have DNA. The cell cannot be seen under a microscope. The cell cannot be analyzed by a microscope. The scientists want to analyze by microscope. See, this is scope, that is scope. We go beyond the scientists. We know far beyond what the scientists know about the identity of the cell. Because we have learned from the great sages, the great Vedic scientists. We have heard from them, and we will learn from them what is the actual nature of the soul. And by following their teachings, we experience a state of consciousness beyond what any material scientist can experience. Isn't it? Yeah. Next.
3 online questions.
3 online questions, okay?
So the first one is from Hare Krishna Prabhu. To bring the mind to sane position, one must always remember his goal. How to always remember?
Well, you put a big note on your wall. My goal is to follow Srimani Krishna. Put it in your bathroom mirror too. Put it wherever you're in the house. Put it on your smartphone too. You can put these. There's so many ways you can remember things if you want to. If you want to remember it, you can do all you can say, my dear Krishna, please miss me. I never forget what my goal is. And 24 hours a day. There's so many things you can do to remember something.
Okay. All right. The next question is from Mother Allison in Vancouver, who's asking if someone who takes initiation and then forgot to do their japa or could not do it because of ill health, not well, what can they do?
If someone desires to fully surrender to Krishna, Krishna will make all arrangements to rescue them from the material world. All the sincerity is all that's required. If one is sincere, Krishna will rescue that soul from the material world.
Another question from Akuti Mataji is when we are distributing Krishna Prasad, some persons following other...
Distributing?
Krishna Prasad.
Distributing it?
Yes.
Okay.
Some persons following other religious traditions don't accept it. What do we tell them?
It really tastes good. I mean, you've never had a sweet as good as this one. Give it a try. These Simply Wonderfuls are simply wonderful. Give it a try, you'll love it.
Hare Krishna, I have a question. When we are in association with devotees, it's very easy. I'm not this body, chant Hare Krishna. But when you approach your co-worker or even neighbor, it seems too weird to say just you're not this body. You feel uncomfortable. It's less of.
You have to be in a mood of revolutionizing the whole world. Prabhupada said to live with the world. So your duty, my dear Mataji, your duty is to live with the whole world. That's your assignment given by Prabhupada. Not just for the Prabhupada disciples or the gurus or the sannyasis. It's the duty of every ISKCON devotee to live with the whole world. So your mood is to be a proactive mood. How can I give them Krishna consciousness in every situation? I had a godbrother who was working for Burroughs Corporation, one of these suit and tie, computer desk jobs in Detroit. But he had an aggressive mood. He put a Bhagavad Gita on his desk. He laid a Gita there on his desk. And one co-worker named Randy Meyer, he saw this kid. What is that book? You're taking to meet it. He became a devotee, right? He became Ramaya Das, initiated by Prabhupada, just by the devotee putting a Bhagavad Gita on his desk. That's all he had to do. So do every little thing. Just like when people call us, the solicitors call on the phone in Austin, Guru Maharaji and I will always give them a holy name. Be very aggressive, do everything you can. Someone says, well, have a good day. I say, Hare Krishna, chant, be happy. That's how I reciprocate. I say, have a good day. I say, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. Do everything you can to introduce Krishna to everyone. Be aggressive. My duty is to make everybody Krishna conscious and do everything I can in every situation. Hare Krishna. Be aggressive. You not know, you might make a co-worker devotee if you're aggressive. Or you can take, if you're in a job that has a break room, take some prasadam and put it in the break room for all the workers. Be aggressive. That's what I used to do. Every week I'd bring a bowl of prasadam, and the co-workers would all take prasadam. So be aggressive in every situation. You give Krishna, give Krishna, give Krishna. You'll be surprised what will happen. If nothing else, you'll be Krishna conscious, and you won't be affected by their association. Instead of being affected by their association, you become affected to them by your association. That's the point. Got it? Now get out there and deliver the world. That's your duty. Okay? Next. Go for it. The whole world is actually waiting to be awakened in Krishna consciousness, and it's your duty to awaken them. Actually. Yes.
Another question, when we are out in the community, she's asking, is it appropriate to chant while on the bus and the train?
Yes, of course. Take cartels and let them get into it.
Not the japa. You can chant, but not the japa.
Not your japa. Chant kirtan. Japa is not a good time to meditate. You get around them before you get on the bus. When you go to the bus, you can do a whole kirtan playing cartels. Why not? If they allow you, if the authorities don't stop you from doing it, why don't you bless the whole car with the holy names? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Let them have it. Take some nice cars out. Boom, boom, boom. Why not enlighten the whole world with Krishna's holy name? Why not? What's the really rule against it? They're going to put you in jail for doing it? No. So go for it. Get out there and chant Hare Krishna for everybody.
Another one. Sorry, are we out of time?
I have a question also.
Oh, yes.
Just kind of a follow-up to that question. What if the only time you have is to just be able to chant on the bus and you're trying to get to your job?
That means you're not managing your time properly.
Okay. But is it bad to chant on the bus if you're a bad manager?
Not managing your time properly. I won't take any excuse.
Okay.
Did you eat before you got on the bus?
I don't take the bus.
If you have time to eat, you can always eat later. I say chant all your rounds before you take prasadam. That's the first thing. If you have time to eat, you can always skip. You can always wait till lunchtime, but you have to get your rounds done first before anything else. That's the best thing for your consciousness. If eating is more important than chanting, you're not properly situated. I tell you right now, you're not properly situated in Krishna consciousness. If eating is more important than chanting, you're not properly situated.
One could argue something is better than nothing.
Well, if you want a success in anything,
Yes.
you want to prioritize.
Yes. But we're not all with such great priorities. Yes.
Let's say somebody wants to become a number one, pop singer. They'll do everything to become, and they'll make every sacrifice to become a number one pop singer. So you should be even more determined to become Krishna's pure devotee. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Next.
We are running out of time, so we'll take one question.
This is the last question.
Yes.
I can hear you without the mic, but we can start.
So I can. So one question is, how does, this is a question from Bhakti Nisha. Our question is, how does one know that they are progressing to upper levels in Krishna consciousness?
Okay, then the holy name becomes more delicious.
It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam. When your material desires are reducing, then you know you are progressing in Krishna consciousness.
All right, so that's it. We're going to stop here. We thank everyone for tuning in. We have, if you want to hear more, we have an online thing. We got 18,000 people signed up right now. You go to www.joincourse.com. You get something in your email every day, and if it doesn't come in your regular, look in the spam folder. We got 18,000 people on, and more people are signing up every day. And you can also ask me questions, and I will answer them personally. And if you like to hear live lectures, go to livelectures.net. This was being posted all over the world on livelectures.net. So thank you all for tuning in. Take this process seriously. Make Krishna consciousness your first priority beyond anything else, and your lives will be unlimitedly sublime, and you'll wake up in the spiritual world when leaving this present body. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to, I didn't get a chance to give a proper introduction for Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu. He came here because he was very fixed. He came right through the door, started with the harmonium and started chanting. And then we opened up Bhagavad Gita and we started going. And just like Prabhu is saying, at the beginning of the sentence, there was, you were in one place, and end of the sentence, your body has changed. Just like for us right here, right now, at the beginning of the program, there's maybe 4 people, and now there's 50. So thank you all for coming. Thank you very much. And I wanted to maybe also thank my good friend Mahabhagavat Prabhu, because it's, I think, by his also thinking of our yatra, ISKCON Ottawa, he arranged it so that Prabhu could come and visit us here today. So I wanted to thank him very much, and I wanted to ask him maybe if you could come and share a few words, tell us a little bit about your guru, and we have some books also, I believe, on the side, so maybe you could tell us a little bit about that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Krishna Dulal Prabhu. So very grateful to both Gurudev and Guru Mataji for making the time to come all the way from Austin, Texas. They're in very, not in great health, and every day, just daily movement is a challenge, but they just do it because they love sharing Krishna consciousness so much. So they just do it because they love it. They feel that duty to their spiritual master. So I'll briefly introduce both Gurudev, Sankarshan Prabhu, and Guru Mataji, Vishnu Priya Mataji, even though I'm going to get chastised for that. So Gurudev started his Krishna conscious journey early in life as a teenager, when he started asking questions like, hey, what's the point of all this? Why should I go to college? Why should I go to university, get a good job, get a good wife? He's a man, so he's talking about a wife and children and a good car and a house, just so I can get buried 6 feet under, right? So I can get some good flowers once a year until people forget about me. And there has to be more to life than all this. So that was his driving, and none of his professors, his teachers, his pastors, none of his counselors, nobody could answer these questions until he met the devotees. Specifically, he met His Holiness Vishnu Jana Maharaj, also a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and the conversations and the experiences that he had chanting Hare Krishna, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, interacting with the devotees just completely changed his life. And he got initiated in 1971. If you can think that far back, like most of you were not born back in 1971. Some of you were, but you remember how far back that is. So 50 plus years he's been serving Srila Prabhupada. And he travels around, he has been traveling around the world. In the recent past, circumstances have not permitted him to travel as much, but he is doing this online. So there's the joincourse.com which you can join, and there's also the livelectures.net which you can, every lecture that he speaks anywhere is broadcast live. He or Guru Mata is broadcast live, so you can join there. And this is a 10-day program, so you're welcome to join online if we are not in Ottawa. Though we will be in Ottawa tomorrow morning. There will be a Mangalarti at 4:30 a.m. So those of you who are really motivated to progress further in Krishna consciousness, attend your first, second or nth Mangalarti, you'll love it. And then there's a class, a Bhagavatam class at 6 a.m. in the morning, followed by breakfast.
It's going to be here?
It's going to be here. Okay. And 6 a.m. is the Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning. And I will translate that time for India and other time zones so that everybody online can hear that. So Guru Mataji started her Krishna consciousness journey, Vishnu Priya Mataji, as a schoolgirl. Okay, and she was not interested in the typical things that schoolgirls are interested in. And when she met the devotees, she just fell right into it. Okay, so she has been practicing since the 70s also, and she goes around, and she's one of my primary teachers, and I'm disobeying her instructions right now, but it's got to be said. Hare Krishna. So that's a brief introduction. ISKCON Ottawa, as you know, is a burgeoning community. Krishna Dulal Prabhu here and the community, they are trying to make this facility even better and rebuild this temple so that we can fit not 50. How many people, Prabhu?
500.
500. He wants to fit in 500 people into the temple. So the temple hall is going to be big and beautiful. So please support us in this effort in any way you can. But starts with tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Devi, we should do a kirtan again?
Kirtan, 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 kirtan.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Gauravani Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare ISKCON Vandavacharya Shila Baba Panda Ki Jai Patita Pavana Sevila Balanso Sila Baba Bad Ki Jai Shila Baba flooding the whole material world with a tidal wave of super ecstatic Krishna Prema Ki Jai Jayom Vishnu Bandhanamaham Zavadi Vijakacharn Jahastadana Zadashi Shaiman. Here's the Vangai Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nama Chanja Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shamakum Narakum Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki jai, Navadi Dham ki jai, Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Gangamai ki jai, Jamunamai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Jasi Devi ki jai, Samavekta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premananda. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale. Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhakti Tarine. So thank you all very much. Who's coming from Mangalati tomorrow? Raise your hand if you're coming before 4:30. Hardly anybody. Come on. Few more. There we go. Some in the back there. There we go. Another one. Please make the sacrifice. I guarantee you the best morning of your whole life. Come tomorrow morning for the best morning of your whole life. 4:30 a.m. right here.
So sorry, I forgot to mention the books. There are some books by the author right here, and you can get those personally autographed. These books are great. So one of them is very resonant with the kinds of questions. Both of them are actually resonant with the types of questions that are asked. The book Truth Works is a series of questions and answers on practical applications of spiritual principles in our lives. That is Truth Works. And then the other book, the Pursuit of Excellence in Krishna Consciousness, is to not get jaded, not to get complacent in our journey, in our spiritual journey. And there's also another book. What is the title of the third book? Stop worrying, start living, right? Start living. Start living. So that's a great book that actually talks about kicking out all the worries that spring from the idea that I'm this body. Hare Krishna.